live.
We're live on the YouTubes for the last time this year.
Sad times.
Sad times, but then it's January, isn't it? And then we do it all again, although it's quite a busy January, so we'll have to see where we fit that in. I'm sure we'll get to what's going on in January soon, but how are you feeling?
I'm feeling really quite good, actually. We've got managed to get all the winter bugs out of the way early, touch wood, so hopefully Christmas will be good.
Yeah, and you can tell me this, you'll know better than me, but in theory, with nurseries shutting and everything, does that mean that the bugs just stop happening? Is that a thing? Or?
I can't remember in previous years. I'm sure we've been very ill at actual Christmas on more than 1 year since having kids, but no, I seem to have got it out of the way early this year, so yeah, fingers crossed that we keep that up.
There's lots of upsides to having kids, aren't there? But there's just lots of downsides as well, which Harrison's decided just to not sleep now. Leading up to Christmas, he's just decides to wake up for no reason whatsoever at about midnight and refuse to go back to sleep.
How old's he now? What, 2.5? Is it
2.5? And you can't really reason with a 2.5-year-old apart from, as we've discovered, bribe him with stickers.
I think that's a known thing. I think the 2.5-year sleep regression is a thing. I'm sure both of ours had that as well.
Yeah, a lot of people have told us that. Bless him. But yeah, stickers are working. We've got a little chart now, so he's getting a sticker for various things that he has to get through, like a to-do list that he has to do between going to bed and waking up in the morning. One of them being stay in your own bed all night, and you get a sticker. He's very, very excited about that. Made no difference at all. Well, a little bit of a difference, but.
Have we tackled potty training yet?
Getting there. Anyone who's tuned into this podcast for the first time, this is exactly what it's like. So, like it or lump it. And also, we always forget to do this because we're rubbish at marketing our own podcast. But we are on YouTube. This is live on YouTube. We have 3 people watching. We keep messing around with the timing. We keep just not turning up sometimes as well. We've been doing this for how long now? Nearly 4 years. You think we'd be getting better at it, but we're not. But if you want to see us, we're live on YouTube randomly. But what were we talking about? Potty training.
Yeah, for some reason I don't know why that came. Oh, stickers. That's what. Yeah, stickers are good for potty training. Okay,
yeah, we'll work into that as well. I suppose we better talk about tech, really, haven't we?
Oh yes, that's what we do, isn't it? It's a tech podcast, allegedly.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely do our favourites and least favourites of the year. We'll get to that because I know you've been working hard on the outline for that.
Yeah, but before we do that, what I'm excited to know is you're currently 2 videos off 1,000 videos on your main channel.
Yeah, which I had no idea about.
Have you got 2 more main videos scheduled before the end of the year?
We've got more than 2 more. We're going to smash the 1,000. Trust me,
the 1,000. Fantastic.
Kick it into the ground. Yeah, I had no idea that was the case. That's another example of you being much more in tune with what I'm doing for a living than me. But yeah, we're going to comfortably top the 1,000. That's ridiculous, isn't it? 1,000 videos.
Oh, I'll tell you why I know. I did this ages ago, and I can't remember why I did it. I think it was just to see if I could. But I've got 3 tiles on my main page of my Stream Deck that I use. It's got your face on it with your sub count, your views count, and your videos count. So I can tell at a glance. So obviously you've got 188,000 subscribers now.
And you sit at that desk every day, don't you? That's your working desk.
Yeah, mostly.
So I'm staring at you every. Why? Just delete them, get rid of them.
It's quite a convoluted set of pulleys and levers to make that happen. So there's a shortcut running in the background. I needed to set up like a YouTube API key. There's some keyboard maestro stuff going on. But yeah, essentially that refreshes once a day or when you press it. But yeah, no, I think I used your face just because I wanted to see if I could do it. Just have a regularly updating YouTube stats counter on a Stream Deck, and I haven't found the need to get rid of it, or I don't need those buttons for anything else currently. So I just noticed you were 2 off 1,000. That's how that made it on the list of things to talk about.
Well, you know more than me. That's slightly worrying, but also nice because I didn't realise that'd be a nice end to the year. Is it? I mean, it's a lot of videos, isn't it? Should it be that many? Let's count it as a win.
Andy McBain's in the house. He's come back.
Andy, yeah, and Andy made he became the title for the last podcast, didn't he? So congratulations, Andy. Again, that will have made no sense to anyone who just found this podcast, but who cares? Maybe that's why we're not sponsored yet, Rob.
Yeah. Yeah, so 4 year and
no money,
continuing to make a loss. Brilliant,
amazing. Right, moving swiftly on. What are we on to next? Some of your news.
Oh, the bookcase arrived. I was going to talk about this last time. So this is the from AstroPad. This doohickey. So this is it like Kindleifies your iPhone, which I've misplaced. Where is it? There it is. So let me unlock it. So it's got NFC in it, and the whole point of it is it sort of gives you stabilizers for your phone to make it easier and more comfortable to hold. So what you do is you whack your phone in there.
That is awesome.
And then I've got it set up to go straight to some dodgy tech publication that I like to read.
Be careful with that ad-infested website. Amazing.
So yeah, so as soon as you put the phone in, you can have it go. That's via a personal automation in shortcuts. But it can comfortably accommodate an S24 Ultra as well if you've got a MagSafe case for that.
Nice.
But it's less silly than I thought it was going to be. It's actually a really comfortable reading experience to hold the phone in two hands like you would a book.
It doesn't look particularly ergonomic, I would say.
Yeah, no, it's genuinely surprising how much more I like it than I was expecting to. So that's turned up. So yeah, if you like to do a lot of long form reading on your phone, it's actually not terrible.
See, I don't. I may have read a bit on the phone in the past, but only when I've been stuck and I haven't got my Kindle with me or my iPad Mini or whatever. But yeah, I guess it adds. I mean, is it something you can see yourself using in 6 months' time?
Oh no, probably not. But if it's got MagSafe on it, I'm buying it. So
true. Yeah, that's how they get you.
Mad for the MagSafe. Well, like the wallet. I had to get a wallet, and I used that for a little bit, and then I realised that I don't actually ever carry any cards. I just use Apple Pay for everything now, or Googly Pay, or whatever device I've got on me. So yeah, that's the only news from. Oh no, I've been playing. I installed the OneUI 7 beta on my S24 Ultra.
What do you think?
I think it's fantastic.
Ooh, okay.
Which is you weren't expecting, were you?
No.
It's everyone was annoyed with Samsung because this should have come out ages ago. It was very heavily delayed, but I'm glad that they took the time to polish it up. So the second beta just came out yesterday. It's really polished. It's really good, and the stuff that they've added to it. I guess the reason it appeals to me is because I'm predominantly an Apple guy, and they basically just cribbed all the best stuff from from iOS. So it's got a new thing called the Now bar, which is essentially dynamic island. So if you've got timers going or whatever, there's a limited amount of sort of live activity-esque stuff it can do if a developer has put support for it. So it's largely Samsung's own apps that's useful for. But basically you've got like a dynamic island and live activities like features now. The app switcher, when you swipe up and then you can scroll between your apps, is basically identical to the iOS one now. You can do all of the the new stuff in terms of customizing your home screen in iOS 18, like removing the app labels, changing the size of the icons, that kind of stuff. You can now do all of that natively without having to install something like GoodLock to mess around with it, so that's quite good. The notification tray and the quick settings have been broken out like they are on the iPhone. Okay. So you swipe down on the left, you get your notifications. You swipe down on the right, you get your quick settings. I quite like that. I'm sure hardcore OneUIers are going to hate that. You can turn it off, you can go back if you want, but I quite like that. The biggest thing for me is the non-paginated app drawer. The vertically scrolling non-paginated. Just why has it taken so long to get that? But it makes a world of difference to how pleasant it is to use, I find.
It's basically iOS then, from the sounds of it.
It is. It's got a cool new font. All the transitions are much smoother. So one of my biggest annoyances when switching between iPhone and the S24 Ultra was just glitches and hangs and seeing UI elements being built on this. It's only a fraction of a second, but you could just see it going, and it just kind of irked me. Everything is just buttery smooth now. It's delightful. It really is. So interesting. I'll see how I get on with that, because for the past 6 months I've been using Square Home. I Windows Phone-ified my S24 Ultra and was enjoying it a lot more than OneUI 6. And I'm not the only person to do this. I'd like to think that he got this idea from me, but Mr. Mobile has been running Square Home on his S24 Ultra. He did a video about it recently.
I'm sure Michael Fisher was completely inspired by you for that.
100%.
So from the sounds of it, because you know what I'm like, I won't get my hands on this until I get the S25 Ultra. I don't do the beta stuff these days, but it sounds to me like when that comes, it's going to be comment sections full of iOS people, Apple fanboys, fangirls, etc., claiming that Samsung has copied everything from the sounds of it, which is great news for content. But is it fair to say that that's what's going to be levelled at them?
It is and it isn't. So yeah, that's the first comparison everyone will make, conveniently forgetting that iOS cribbed everything from other Android phones to begin with.
Very true. Very true. And also, who cares? As I've always said. I mean, yeah. Okay, that's good. I'm looking forward to trying it. I mean, it does make that S25 launch a bit more interesting, because the rumours are that it's not that different, hardware-wise. But as we know, a new operating system can make any phone feel newer, can't it? So that is going to help. Yeah, that is assuming that it will come with OneUI 7 out of the box.
You would think so, wouldn't you?
It must be gearing up for that, mustn't it? That must be part of the big launch.
Yeah. So, the other good Samsung news is the Samsung Care Plus, which is like their insurance product, which, if you go looking for feedback on the internet, it's a mixed bag. They had quite a bad parts shortage problem a while back, such that, they'd approve your claim, but they couldn't actually fix your device. Hopefully they've sorted that out now. But from the 15th of January, they're removing the excess for screen repair on the Samsung Care Plus with theft and loss, which I happen to have on the S24 Ultra. So you can, if you break the screen, you won't have to pay an excess, which you would have had to do previously. So that's for existing customers and for new phone buyers. So yeah, if you're in the market for an S25 Ultra and you take out the insurance product, you can smash the screen without worry, assuming they've got the parts.
That's nice, isn't it? That's good. A good bit of public service announcement there.
What else have I got in terms of public service announcements? Have you updated to iOS 18.2?
I have, yeah, and I've noticed that we're talking about Image Playground, so I'm just very quickly going to get that up on my phone. So you've been playing with it?
Yeah, I've been playing with the Image Playground. It's completely pointless, but it's jolly good fun.
It is.
You're going to get up Mark AI Ellis.
I was going to, but it's not coming up now. It's downloading support. You get a lot of this with Apple Intelligence, don't you? A lot of downloading stuff to make it work. I had to laugh, not really laugh, but I had to have a wry smile at the fact that when you update to 18, what was it, 0.2? What was it with Apple? It was, wasn't it? It doesn't install Apple Intelligence straight away. So I updated to 18.2. I thought, oh, exciting. Long pressed the power button to get Siri up, and the little circle still appeared. So I went into settings. It then said downloading Apple Intelligence, which I found quite funny for some reason. I don't know what this is doing now. It just says downloading support for Image Play. This was working a week ago because I made some hilarious AI versions of me. All I've got now is this dog eating a burger. And a plus button at the bottom. That's it. That's all I can do. And if I hit the plus button, it says downloading support for Image Playground.
Look at the state of AI me. It's made 12. Very silly.
If there was ever a reason to watch this, that was it. I don't know I think it's broken on mine. It's not working.
I think that's the general theme with all this Apple Intelligence stuff. Is like when it works, it's fascinating and it's magical, but it just doesn't, does it?
It's beta, to be fair, isn't it? But this just isn't. This was genuinely working a week ago. All I've got is this dog eating a burger, which I assume I created for some reason. I mean, that's not giving it much of a hard time in terms of testing it out. But okay, I would show you, but I can't because it's not working. But even still, it is just pointless, isn't it? We were on a press trip last week, and we were all on a bus somewhere, and we were all trying it on our iPhones, and everyone said the same thing, which was that what are you supposed to do with these really weird versions of yourself? Where do you put them? When would you want to send that to someone? When would you want to put that on a public forum or why?
It won't generate any pictures. If you ask it to generate a picture of yourself with any Apple product, it won't do it. You can't say, do me. So you can go in and then you can set a scene and a theme and that kind of stuff. But you've also got a text prompt, and so you can say, holding an ostrich or whatever, and fair enough, it will generate it. But if you say to generate a picture of me wearing a Vision Pro or wearing AirPods Max or holding an iPhone, it won't do it.
I tried to get it with Tim Cook holding an S24 Ultra, and it didn't look like that at all. Unsurprisingly, it's not working. So
my biggest takeaway from iOS 18.2 is the battery life. My battery life has taken an absolute kicking.
Interesting.
So when I first got my 15 Pro Max, I was getting well into a third day before needing to recharge, and then obviously as it gets older and it's had more cycles, I was around a 2 day. I'd have to charge it before bed at the end of the second day. I'm down to a 1 day now with and I initially thought it was due because I was running the beta previously to try out the Apple Intelligence back in the olden times when you had to change your language to US and all of that sort of stuff. But this is running the official proper release, and it's noticeably worse, my battery life.
I've not noticed it, but to be honest, I'm not the best one to test that because I'm reviewing 2 other phones at the minute. So I'm kind of switching between devices, and I've also got into the weird habit of not charging. I don't know if it's weird or not, but the habit of not charging the phone, my main phone, overnight. So I just leave it at whatever it is overnight, and then charge it in the morning if it needs charging, and just top it up whenever. So my my view of battery life is different these days. I'm not really doing it, at morning to night. The cycles are completely out of sync, basically all over the shop. But I haven't noticed anything, to my knowledge anyway, nothing drastically different since installing it. But Apple Intelligence, I mean, I don't even think it's on, quite rightly, isn't even on the list here, but it's just a bit underwhelming, isn't it? And a bit broken and a very beta-ish, which is fine. It's a beta thing, but it just feels a bit rushed. I've not really spent time with Siri, to be fair, because I lost confidence in Siri quite a while ago, so I just naturally don't tend to use it very much. But I do need to give that a fair chance, really. But everything else, I mean, what else is there apart from the writing assistant, which I don't think anyone uses. Does anyone use that sort of stuff on any of these devices? Making me sound more professional and...
Yeah, not really into that.
Yeah.
Well, so what I say, it's in beta. It's probably the least worst implementation of AI. I'll give it that.
You reckon?
I think so.
Even compared to Galaxy?
Especially compared to Galaxy.
Interesting. Have you tried visual intelligence yet?
Well, no, I can't do that because I'm 16, have I?
Oh, you haven't got the camera control, have you?
No.
One day, Rob. One day.
Is that even available in the UK?
It does do something, yeah. When you hold down the camera control, you do get... Let's try and show you. You get this interface here, which is visual intelligence. I don't know what it will do if I do it on me. Nothing. It's just taking a photo of me. Brilliant. Right, moving on.
Okay. So what else have I been doing? There've been some pretty substantial updates to Windows Phone Link. So I like to run a Windows 11 virtual machine, and I recently installed 24H2 to see how that was. The answer is yes, it is as bad as everyone says it is. It's very buggy. Don't install it. Wait for them to fix all the stuff. But as part of that project, the thing that I really miss whenever I go back to Windows, although from my actual day job, I do use Windows day in, day out. But the thing I miss about Windows is the launcher. So I'm big into keyboard control, keyboard shortcuts. I like to use a launcher, and so the launcher I use on Mac OS is Raycast, which allows you to just press Command and space, up comes a window, and then you can do calculations, you can do, go off and do a chat GPT search, or you can write your own scripts and plumb that in. There's the possibilities are endless, but most of the time I just use it to open apps because it's faster than clicking on moving my hand to the mouse, moving the mouse pointer to whatever it is I want to open and clicking it. I can just go Command space, and within one letter it knows what app I want, and then it's open, and then I use another app. There are loads of window managers, but I use Rectangle Pro. I used to use the free version for ages, but I thought I use it so much I should give him some money. So it's a nice indie app. So within a couple of keystrokes I have got the app that I want open, and it's placed on the display where I want it, and everything's brilliant. And I miss that when I go over to Windows. Now I know Windows has got better window management anyway. You can expand it further with Power Toys, but I've been playing with a thing called Flow Launcher, which you can check out at flowlauncher.com. It's basically Raycast for Windows, although there is an official Raycast for Windows in the pipeline allegedly. You can join a wait list for that on the Raycast website. But I'm quite enjoying that. I'm quite enjoying having launcher ability. And then the other thing that I noticed was annoying me about Windows was keyboard shortcuts. So on Mac OS, and people may or may not be aware of this, if you're a long-time Mac OS user, you'll know this, but if you're reasonably new, you might not, is that there's a system-level keyboard shortcut feature which allows you to assign or change any keyboard shortcut within any app, or if a menu bar item doesn't have a keyboard shortcut, you can add it. So, for example, in Mail, the Apple Mail app, if you want to go and fetch your new mail, if you want to do that, if you want to sort of do a refresh of any given app anywhere else, what's the keyboard shortcut? It's Command R.
Command R.
You want to refresh something in Mac OS, it's almost always Command R. Not in Mail, it's Command Shift N for some reason, and I can't get my head around that. So I change it using the system level keyboard shortcut changing facility to Command R, so that it operates in the same way as every other fucking app on my machine. So you can do that on Windows as well. So that again, it's not sort of built in the settings as such, but you can use Power Toys as a plugin for Power Toys, which I don't know, people may or may not be aware of Power Toys. Power Toys is a set of really useful utilities that can
really good
augment your Windows 11 experience. But there's a module for that called Keyboard Manager, which allows you to do the same thing. So you can say, well, look, when I press such and such keyboard, when I physically press this keyboard shortcut on my keyboard, I want you to actually carry out a different keyboard shortcut when I'm in this app, or when I'm in this app, or whatever. So that's really useful. So I think that's all the news from me. The new car is coming. New car's coming on Thursday. That's been going through QA, so I'll let you know how I get on with that next time we speak.
Exciting.
Try not to crash it, because it's the first time in my life I've ever bought a brand new car.
Yeah, there's so many worries with that, aren't there? But mainly getting it dirty for the first time, because it's pristine, isn't it, when you first get it? There's not a single speck of dirt or anything on it.
I mean, the kit will destroy the interior.
Immediately, yeah.
Immediately. Hurl a Gromis milkshake all over it.
They make such a mess. They do make. How do they make such a mess of a car interior? You clean it, you hoover it, and then immediately you think, why did I bother doing that? Because it's just full of biscuits again and stuff. But no, that's exciting.
And I'm currently awaiting my 1.6 gigabit per second fibre installation from EE with the Wi-Fi 7 router.
Imagine how fast the 8 or 16 will be then. This whole show will be lightning quick.
Nick is asking if I bought a Cybertruck. You haven't been paying attention, have you, Nick? No, I haven't bought a Cyber. A, you can't buy them here, and B, it's a Kia Sportage.
Someone has bought one out here, haven't they? There's that guy.
Have they?
What's his name? Yeah, a guy called Yanni. He's quite a big car influencer, YouTuber guy. I've not watched the video, but it appears, unless it's a bit massive clickbait, who knows? It appears that he's bought a Cybertruck. Is somehow using it over here. I don't know how that works. Whether he's had to modify it, I don't know. Yeah, it might be.
Oh, that's
rubbish,
awful. It won't be long. Chris Eubank will have one. No.
Oh, he's probably got one already, isn't Chris? Probably sleeps in it. I would, to be fair. I might do that. If I ever make enough money to afford a Cybertruck just to sleep in, I'd do that.
Have you ever seen him like going around Brighton in his truck?
I haven't. I did see him once, years and years ago, on Oxford Street. Not in a truck, just crossing the road, which was, I thought, really amused me just to watch Chris Eubank crossing the road in Oxford Street. Wasn't that funny, but it just seemed amusing at the time. Right. From potty training to Chris Eubank to the Google Samsung XR headset.
Yeah, have you seen this?
I haven't, no. Again, the classic example of you being much more ahead with the times when it comes to tech than me. So they're making a Vision Pro, are they?
Yeah, it's essentially an Android Vision Pro. So it's Android XR is their take on Vision OS.
Okay.
And yeah, Samsung, there's I'll stick a link in the show notes, but yeah, there's a press release with a render of this new headset that looks very Vision Pro-y.
It's very Vision Pro, doesn't it? I hope it's not as heavy as Vision Pro. That's the key thing, isn't it?
Oh, that's funny you should mention that, actually. So in other sort of mixed reality headset news, there's a company called ResMed. They've been around a while. They sort of do biometric tracking. I think their core business is like sleep apnea medical devices. But a few years back they did a consumer sleep tracking device that used radar or something to track your sleep. Anyway, it doesn't matter. They've released, using all of their sleep apnea expertise, they have made a Vision Pro strap with counterweights to sort of level out. Not that it needs to be heavier, but I think maybe it's not the total weight that is the problem with Vision Pro, but the distribution of that weight.
Oh, it's massively that, yeah.
So yeah, so this is called the Contour strap, spelt Kontor, and it's supposed to be really comfortable. Makes the Vision Pro actually quite nice to wear by all accounts.
I saw this a little while ago, and what bothers me with it is that the fact that a medical company has decided to make it, that gave me the ick, as the kids say these days. The fact that Vision Pro is so uncomfortably heavy anyway, the fact that a medical company is getting involved and then creating this thing with counterweights to make it more comfortable, for some reason bothers me. I don't know why. I almost don't want to try it because of that. It feels like, why are we having to reverse engineer the weight of this thing? How bad is it?
And it costs $120, so you can buy a $120 jock strap to go with your $200 shell suit accessory.
What an absolute bargain! Are we on to our review of 2024? Aren't we? I think.
No. There's still one more important thing on mixed reality is that Apple and Sony are talking, aren't they? You heard this? They're looking to bring PSVR 2 hand controller support to Vision Pro. Because I have to say, one of the obviously I know their whole shtick with the Vision Pro was their amazing hand gesture ability, and it works better than anything else that's tried to do that. Fine. But the fact is that a physical controller is still just more accurate and easy to use. So, like when I'm using my Quest 3, the actual physical controllers, they're brilliant. I can zip round the OS without any friction. It's really it works well. So I'll be excited to see how that pans out.
That would be interesting.
Okay, now we can talk about 2020. So we've just spent half an hour talking about absolute rubbish, and what we should be doing is reviewing 2024 because of all the cool and terrible things that have happened this year.
Yeah, this hasn't been a review of the year. We haven't decided on the show title yet, but if the show title is review of the year, we've lost so many people immediately, but we've got there eventually, haven't we? So the first thing you put on here was all the places that I visited this year. I'm glad you put this on because I'm not the sort of person who kind of checks off how many countries he's visited in a year, and I just forget and just move on. But it was I've been to quite a few places, and this is purely from memory. To be honest, I had a very quick look at the diary, but so in total we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11-ish countries. I say ish because Scotland's on there. Nothing wrong with Scotland, but it's a stretch calling it a different country. Yeah, quite a lot of places. China twice, Barcelona I think twice, Berlin definitely twice, Taipei, Vegas, Leipzig, I think you pronounce it, Gelsenkirchen, Leipzig rather, Bali, Scotland, Dubai, Dusseldorf, and I think there's possibly somewhere else that I've forgotten about, it feels, but it's been very, very busy year for the old travelling and the carbon footprint.
That's amazing. That's you're a proper globetrotter now.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I think I talked about this on the recent newsletter, which I kind of shot walking down this beachfront on Dubai, which looked very lovely, and it was very lovely. And it's definitely a privilege to be doing this stuff, but it does come from hard work. You have to get to this stage where you get these invites, and they're hard work. They are genuinely hard work, but the trade-off is these amazing experiences that you wouldn't otherwise get. The downside is that you're not doing it with your family, and I've made some great friends doing this, but they wouldn't mind me saying this. I'd much rather be there with my family, obviously. But it's been a really good year for travelling and seeing things and all that sort of stuff. I think next year will be the same, if not even crazier. January is looking very, very nuts.
Oh, yeah. What's going on in January?
There's two things I can't mention, but the one of them I can is Vegas. I mean, that's the
CES then.
That's the big one. Yeah, CES, which is so early. It's basically the first weekend. I go there the first weekend after the New Year and straight into it, basically. It'd been an interesting one, CES. I don't know, because it wasn't that interesting this year, was it? There wasn't really anything that came out of it apart from the now failed Rabbit, AI stuff, and what else was there? I just remember AI massage chairs as I was walking around the convention centre. That was the one thing that stuck in my mind. It was that point I just thought, this is getting a bit silly now. But yeah, no, we'll see. We'll see if it's a more interesting one next year.
Cool. So yes, what did I want to know? I want to know basically your favourite things and your least favourite things that you have either reviewed or things that you would have liked to review that you didn't. The most disappointing thing, and also the best bit of tech that you personally have bought with your own money. Those are the sort of four things that I want to know about. So
okay, I think my choices are fairly boring and fairly obvious, because I was trying to think, well, there must be something more interesting than these picks, but there's not really. And based on what I've said about these things, I have to live up to that and be true to my word. But best thing I've reviewed is that M4 Mac Mini. I've already called it Apple's best ever product, so it should be the best thing I've reviewed this year, shouldn't it? But I love it. It's so good. I know you've tried one, haven't you? You've had a bit of hands-on time with one. But yeah, it's everything I was kind of waiting for. The only annoying thing is the lack of an SD card reader. That's the only downside. There's no other problem with it. The power button thing isn't a big deal as far as I'm concerned.
And colours.
Yeah, and the colours. There was that
and
as well.
Wi-Fi 7.
I'm less bothered about that, but yeah, there's a few things out there. But
I'm bothered because I just shelled out a load of money, and will be shelling out a whole load of money for the next 24 months because of
absolutely.
Deal. So yeah, no, I think most people over the lifetime of a Mac, because if you buy a Mac, I think most people are going to be keeping it for 3-5 years.
Yep.
I think most people will have Wi-Fi 7 during the lifetime of that device, so it's a bit annoying that it doesn't have it now.
It is a bit irritating, isn't it? Just quickly, Andy in the chat has just mentioned Paris. I've been to Paris. I've been to Amsterdam as well. There were two others that I forgot about. Sorry. Just throw that in more countries.
I was also asked if the bookcase is iPad mini size, and I couldn't tell you because I don't have one. It's more Kindle size.
It looks smaller.
I think it's slightly smaller.
So best thing I've definitely the M Format Mini. My favourite thing I haven't reviewed is a bit boring, but I love it. Is that Peak Design everyday carry, the 20-litre everyday carry, which is over there. It's my new backpack. It's brilliant. I just maybe it's my age. I'm at the age now where I love a good backpack. I get very attached to them. I get really attached to them, not in a weird way. Just I just like them very much, and it's probably the best design bag that I've used. But I haven't reviewed it. It's feature. In fact, I have reviewed it, haven't I, on the website? Okay, we'll forget that. It's not been on the channel yet, but it will be at some point. Product of the year, you know what that is. That's the M Format Mini. The biggest disappointment. There haven't been many this year for me, to be honest. For instance, all of the Android phones that I reviewed, most of them have been really good, like surprisingly good, really nice, refreshing change from the iPhone, and all of them have had something interesting, whether it be normally the camera system or something to do with the OS or the design. So phone-wise, no big disappointments, no watch disappointments, no tablet. Well, iPad Mini 7 is a bit of a disappointment, but the biggest one is the AirPods Max 2. Whatever they are, just the new AirPods Max. Or I can't call them anything, because anything I call them, I get told off for it. I can't call them the new AirPods Max. I can't call them AirPods Max 2. I can't say second generation. And in fairness, Apple just calls them AirPods Max. That's all they are. But yeah, the biggest disappointment, because I was hoping for something. Having reviewed so many pairs of headphones in the last nearly 5 years, I know what Apple could do, and they haven't done it yet. I think it was just a tick box for the EU regulations, but it just didn't go down very well. But ironically, and kind of counter to that, is the fact that it's produced two of the best performing videos that we've had on this channel this year, and for quite a while actually, which is just bonkers. Two videos about a product that hasn't changed, bar colours and USB-C charging. And I think I compared it to the Vision Pro videos that we made earlier in the year. They're nowhere near as popular as those AirPods Max videos. I give up. I don't. People say, "Why do you keep making videos about AirPods Max?" That's why. Anyway,
for some reason.
People love it. They love getting annoyed by it, I think. The only slight, I guess, kind of break in the cloud is the fact that we may see something better next year. Maybe there's something they've been holding back, but I'm not convinced, personally. We'll see. Best bit of tech I've personally bought is, I think, I haven't bought a lot of tech, to be fair, so it's not a massive bunch of things to choose from, but the Fujifilm X100VI is, I've not used it a huge amount, but it's just such a nice bit of kit.
What a camera! What brought that on?
I just went for it. I kept looking. I did that thing over the last year. I've looked at it and then convinced myself I didn't need it and forgotten about it. And I spoke to him. It's mainly Patrick Ramble's fault, because I knew he had one. I'm sure he won't mind me saying this. He had one and it was stolen. He put it on the top of his car somewhere, and he was leaning into the car to get something and got out, and it wasn't there anymore. And he said he could have cried, and he loved it that much he just bought another one. And I said to him, "Did you do this thing where you kept checking it out and watching all the reviews and then say no, don't need it, don't need a camera, and then going back to it?" He said, "Yeah, I did the exact same thing." He said, "Just buy it." So I have just bought it with the kind of sole aim of just getting back into photography outside of this business. That hasn't happened yet, but it's just a really nice thing.
Yeah, it's a beautiful device. So yeah, so you how did you become aware of it? Because it's one of the most popular cameras in the world, because TikTok have adopted it as the camera that you should have.
Yeah, I missed all that. That happened it happened with the previous generation, didn't it? With the 5, that it really kicked off for some reason. Was it last year? It kind of went off.
You couldn't get them. You couldn't get them.
Which added to the mystique, didn't it? And it was, I think, I don't know how true this is, but I heard from someone that the Fujifilm's CEO's son, apparently, who runs that division within Fujifilm, is a massive photography guy, and apparently this camera would not exist if he wasn't at the company. So it's a bit of a passion project type thing, I think. And I would guess the constrained supply might be intentional, who knows. But yeah, I missed all that stuff, so I can't remember when I first kind of came across it. I think I I just picked up on it on someone talking about it on a YouTube video. It might have been actually Olier, as in Ultralinks, who I met last week. That was a really strange, really weird situation, because he lives in Dubai now. As if anyone doesn't know who he is, if you just search for Olier, Oliur, he's been going for a long time, not longer than me, and he's got about 500,000 subs, and he's got a very recognisable aesthetic, hasn't he, for his stuff? Very clean, very relatable guy. He's from the UK, but he's, like I say, he's moved to Dubai this year. So I was in Dubai last week for this Huawei event, and I was in the hotel reception speaking to the PR guy, and just felt someone tap me on the shoulder, and I turned round, and it was him. It was Olier. He says, "It's Mark, isn't it?" And he said, I've watched a couple of your videos, and et cetera, et cetera. And it was that really weird thing where someone you've been watching on YouTube, I've watched him for a couple of years before I started this channel, was suddenly standing in front of you. And he's a really, really nice bloke, like genuinely lovely. I've met a couple of people in this industry, I won't name any names, who are a bit standoffish, but he wasn't that at all. He was lovely, really got on well with him. And he spent the kind of 3 days with us doing stuff, and which was easy for him because he just got an Uber from his house to wherever we were, but rather than a 9-hour flight. But very nice guy. But I've gone off piece there. But I think he may have influenced me a little bit, as he has done with lots of things, in terms of going for that camera.
Oh,
and it's a lovely thing.
Cool. So, what do you think the coolest stuff that was announced this year that you wouldn't necessarily buy? I'll give you some ideas. So I think my top 2 coolest things that I saw this year that I either wouldn't necessarily buy or that you just can't buy because it doesn't exist yet is the Huawei Mate XT, the triple bendy phone, which is just so it's cool. It's really cool. There's no question about it. Yeah, it's running a Noddy OS. You can't put Google Play anything on it, but it's a triple bendy phone.
It is, yeah. I've used it as well. It's the other thing to bear in mind with it is it's not flimsy at all. It looks like it would snap in half, but it's like most Huawei stuff. It's really well made, like surprisingly brilliant, and. Who knows? Maybe we'll see that next year in the UK. Who knows? Or in Europe. It would be lovely if we did. But yeah, I agree. I wouldn't buy one. I would not have any reason to own a phone like that personally, but it's great that it exists.
And then the Meta Orion mixed reality headset, or glasses even. So they actually have a working prototype that costs tens of thousands of pounds to make, but the fact that exists, that was a really exciting glimpse into the future, I think.
Yeah, I like that. About 20 grand each, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah. Can you think of anything cooler that came out this year other than the M4 Mac Mini?
What else can such a boring choice, that, isn't it? I wanted to pick something more interesting. There is the Vision Pro. Have you seen this Vision Pro camera? This 30 grand. Is it Canon or someone who's made it? I think it's Canon, which is coming out next year. It's got these 2 like goggle. Someone pointed out that it looks a little bit like Wally, the Pixar thing, little Pixar droid. But it's 30 grand. I want a reason to buy one. Just make, for no reason, make spatial videos for the channel that no one can watch. That looks quite cool. Is there anything else that came out this year? What else happened? There's so much stuff that passes through the doors here and that you tell me about. I just forget all of it immediately and move on to the next thing that I'm reviewing, which is normally just an Android phone. But
well, so those off the top of my head, those were the 2 coolest things I could think of this year. I don't know if anyone watching has got any better ideas. Stick a note in the comments.
I would say, we've mentioned it already, I would say the Cybertruck, because I got very close quarters with one in London when it did like a UK tour earlier this year, I think in April or something, and I did. It's just utterly stupid thing. But I like that. I'm as you know, big car guy, and I'm interested in anything that's a bit unusual in terms of car, automotive, and all that sort of stuff. And it's just such a bonkers and like stupidly big, and really dangerous. Sharp edges, and not very well made, like most Teslas. Panels are all over the place and all sorts. But there's just something. I just again love the fact it exists. The fact they've just gone for it and just built that thing. Why not? It looks like my son drew it as well. And it's this living, breathing car in front of you.
Okay. Well, conversely then, what was the crappiest thing that happened this year?
The rabbit thing, all the stuff that you bought off the back of off CES. The Rabbit R1. What was the other one? The AI pin. You didn't buy one of them, did you?
It's genuinely awful. Genuinely awful.
Just horrendous. Did you buy was it an AI pin? Is that what it was called?
I don't think you could get them here, and it requires a subscription, so I wasn't getting involved with that.
That's probably for the best, isn't it? Yeah, they were both rubbish, weren't they? What else was rubbish? Nothing else sticks out that I can remember.
Right,
it's not been a bad year for tech, has it? Apart from these silly AI bandwagon things.
You got the Apple Crush advert.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's an advert, isn't it? That's not really tech.
That went down like a fart in a lift, didn't it?
Went down like a crushed piano, didn't it?
Just not necessarily just the hardware products, and not necessarily just the humane AI pin and the Rabbit R1, but just AI in general has been cack. Like when in the good old days, you used to go to Google, you used to ask it for some information and you'd get that information. But now you get a horrible AI overview that you cannot rely upon at all. That was hilariously bad earlier in the year when it recommended... what did it recommend? It's like the recommended daily allowance of rocks you could consume, or telling someone that they should glue the cheese onto their pizza to stop it falling off. And even more recently, like with the Apple Intelligence summarization of notifications, proliferated some fake news based on a BBC News article. It summarised a news article. It was a news article about the guy that shot the healthcare CEO dude, and completely misrepresented what had happened there. And you imagine how many millions of people have got BBC News on their phone and received this complete garbage summarised notification. There was the moment that CrowdStrike literally broke the internet with the balked update that just killed everything, flights, banks, you name it. Everything fell over, didn't it?
It wasn't a great day, was it, for them?
And then, of course, you've got basically everything that Microsoft did this year, which is like Recall. That went horrifically wrong.
That didn't work out very well, did it? No.
The aggressive pop-ups trying to get you to switch from Google to Bing and from Chrome to Edge, where they even went as far as installing extensions into Chrome that switched your default search engine to Bing if you clicked the wrong button. There was that. I think we talked about it last time. Was it that stupid dumb terminal, the Windows 365 link, which is just a little black box that does nothing except give you some USB ports.
Okay, and then what's the Windows 11 24H2 update? What was that? I missed that.
That's just the most recent Windows 11 update has been fraught with issues. It's been widely reported. It's it's just a revolving door of bugs. They just keep it's like whack-a-mole of issues. They just knock some stuff out and then just more problems come out.
A revolving door of bugs. Imagine working in that software development department.
And then there's what the Xbox division are doing.
Those adverts.
What is an Xbox? And this is sort of recent news that the age of the Xbox exclusive is probably coming to an end. They're really trying to push this notion of Xbox as a concept, as an idea, rather than the Xbox device that people have enjoyed previously.
Yeah, this is an Xbox. No, it's not. It's not an Xbox. It's a phone or whatever it is they're putting those ads.
Yeah, well, we're talking a step further here. So it's one thing saying that your phone or your laptop or whatever can be an Xbox because you've got Xbox Cloud Gaming, but they're now taking things a step further to say, well, actually, why shouldn't you be able to enjoy Xbox content on a PlayStation?
Yeah. It's been quite a rubbish year, hasn't it, for tech? I think AI is annoying. My kind of my TLDR with 2024, nearly said the wrong year then, is that I think that the AI stuff that we use as a business here ChatGPT or that kind of business is genuinely helpful. It has changed things. It's very useful. It saves time, etc., etc. No problem with that whatsoever. But the consumer focused stuff that we see mainly in smartphones is just, it's like, I think I've called it an arms race, where it's just they're all trying to do the same thing, and every phone that I've got in that drawer over there has got AI stuff on it. I haven't used any of it. I've tried bits and pieces of it. I don't tend to cover it in the reviews because I know that what my audience cares about is the battery life, the price, and that's about it, really. The camera system, obviously, as well. Those three things are the main, and that's what's been the case for the last 10 years. That's what matters. So, and funnily enough, I got to speak to one of the main Huawei product development guys last week. He wanted to have a chat with a few of us about our feedback on products and stuff. And I said that to him now. I said, people don't seem to care about AI. If I look at the comments, no, I've run polls on YouTube and in communities and stuff, and no one seems to care about it. They care about the normal stuff. So, yeah, I'm not sure if he was pleased to hear that or not, but he's been told. So, yeah, I find it desperately boring. All of this, kind of text help and even the image stuff. Removing reflections. It's one of those things that you try first off, and then you never use it again, because we've been used to taking photos through Windows and then forgetting there's a reflection in there. I don't know if you're the same as me. I just don't care. It doesn't change my life.
Yeah, I tend not to use any post-processing if I can. I might occasionally, remove an object or something, but or maybe a blemish, or there's a speck of dust, or but very sparing use of that kind of thing.
And also,
I'm certainly not like taking multiple group shots and then like pasting different heads on and that sort of
the
stuff.
eyes back in and all that sort of stuff. No one cares. And when do you consume these photos? You might see them on a tablet in the kitchen as you walk past occasionally, or you might get one of those Google memories things pop up. When those memories pop up, you don't think, oh no, I can't believe that reflection's still on that window. You just don't care. You just think, oh, that's a lovely photo of wherever we were. So yeah, the AI stuff.
Level the horizon, crop it a bit. That's about as far as it goes usually.
Or just do it automatically and don't tell us about it. So we think, that's a very well taken photo. I'm a great photographer. Great. Just do the behind the scenes stuff. I think the phone manufacturers and brands are much more obsessed with it than any of us are, really. So that I just hope that quietens down a bit in 2025. That's my genuine hope. And I don't really care if Apple Intelligence, if nothing happens with it. I wouldn't care if it was quietly just kind of becomes just a little part of the system somewhere that no one thinks about. Wouldn't bother me.
Yeah. So,
sorry, Tim.
Looking forward to 2025, I don't know that I'm going to buy anything.
I don't believe that for a second.
So when I was putting this together, I just had a quick think through what I've bought this year, and if you look at that list, it's horrifying.
Wow, you've bought more phones than I have. I get sent a lot of them, but you've definitely bought more phones than I have.
So, yeah. So this is largely in chronological order, I think. So I kicked off the year by getting an M2 Pro Mac Mini, which is it's more computer than anyone reasonably needs. And we've talked about this before. It's the reason why I didn't get an M4 Mac Mini, because it would have been a side grade, really, except for its enhanced ability to do certain stuff in 3D. So it's got ray tracing that I don't have, and it's better equipped for AI. And the things that it is faster at, I don't care that the thing that I can do in 1 second on an M4 Mac Mini will take me 3 seconds on an M2 Pro. It just doesn't make any difference to me. No. So yeah, until this machine starts irritating me, it's staying, I think.
Fair enough.
Then I got a ridiculous deal. I wasn't going to bother with an Ultra phone because I'd bought. This is my third one, isn't it? So the S24 Ultra, I think 3 years in a row, I bought a Galaxy Ultra phone, hoping that I can use it as my daily device. And to be fair, the S24 Ultra is the least worst yet, because that anti-reflective coating on the display is still witchcraft. It's just like a black hole. You just take it out in direct sunlight and it's completely readable.
Yeah.
It's incredible. So I got that, and then later in the year I got my first bendy phone, didn't I? Oh, no, actually, no. So I'll tell you, the reason I got the S24 Ultra was because I got a ludicrous deal. Because I traded in the S23 Ultra, and for pre-ordering they threw in a Watch 6 and a bunch of other stuff, some screen protectors and cases. But like, I was only on the hook for like 560 quid, I think it cost me to. So I was like, wow, it's worth a punt, isn't it? I don't know that I'll do that. We'll have to see. I'll tune into the January event and I'll see if they're, unless there's a drastic improvement on the cameras, I don't think I don't think I can be tempted, really, because that's always the thing that holds me back. Because I have to say the battery life on the S24 Ultra, certainly now since iOS 18.2, the battery life and the OneUI 7 now on the, it's appealing to me a lot more than it was when I originally got it. So then I got the bendy phone, didn't I? I got the Honor Magic V2 just because it was so unfeasibly thin. I had to have one myself. And then within the same year,
I love the fact you bought two Honor Magic Vs in the same year.
I got the V2, and then later in the year they brought out the V3 because I think the launch of the V2 in this country was so horrifically delayed. I thought surely they're not going to release another one, but they did. Anyway, so I got rid of the V2 to Mark Fox, who was your personal trainer for a while.
Yeah,
wasn't
he still is. Yeah.
So I dropped. I as it happens, he lives up the road from me, and I had to run some errands up there. So I've met Mark Fox, and he's absolutely hench. I don't know how he looked on camera.
He looks very big on camera. You can tell he's a big guy, but yeah, I guess in person he's like at the size of a house.
As a unit. But anyway, so he's enjoying that, and I put the money I got from that towards the V3, which is a spectacular device. So I did the camera comparison earlier in the year. It takes photos that look like iPhone photos, reliably as well.
It's a very impressive bit of kit.
I got the. Sorry, you look like you're about to say something.
No, go for it.
Yeah, so then I bought the 16 Pro Max and promptly returned it because it just gave me a rubbish button and nothing else that I could tell in the 2 weeks that I had it.
Fair assessment, really.
Then what else have I bought? I bought the M4 iPad Pro and the new Magic Keyboard and the Apple Pencil 2. And I don't know why I did that, but what? It's still to this day. It's the thinness that blows my mind, because it is like the Magic V3. It's barely thicker than the USB port.
Doesn't make any sense, does it?
You need to charge it. I mean, the fact that it's thinner than the pencil that you attach to it.
It's got all that stuff in there. It's got a really nice display. It's got a computer in there as well somewhere. Like, it's just nuts.
It's madness.
We are running towards the end of time, but just to kind of summarise, you bought 3 wearables. One of those is a fine woven strap, to be fair. You haven't bought that many accessories. A couple of Belkin chargers. That's fine. That's normal, isn't it? You've bought some interesting music/entertainment stuff. 2 sets of B&O headphones. Is it Name? How do you pronounce it? Name, very high quality streaming amplifier. 55.
I'm currently airplaying YouTube music. Oh, did you try it? We talked about this last week. You said you were going to give it a go.
No, but it's on my mind. I'm doing something else at the minute that might use it for. But every time I open YouTube, I think, oh yeah, YouTube music. So I just need to make the switch at some point. What you got? LG OLED TV, some smart home stuff. You've bought a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And then silly things like you bought. I love the fact that this is the best list. The Rabbit R1 Clicks keyboard. I don't know if that's silly. I mean, that's less. It's not Rabbit R1 territory, is it? That bookcase thing that you showed us, the Tiny Pod Shift Cam. The Bluetooth Rubik's Cube and a Nintendo alarm clock.
Hang on, it's around here somewhere.
And you bought a new chair.
No, I didn't buy a new chair. So at the beginning of the year, I said I was in the market for
a
Miller Aeron or a steel case Gesture. I didn't buy either of them because I just haven't had the opportunity to sit in one. I think if you're going to spend that much money on a chair, you need to see if it's compatible with your arse.
Yeah, definitely. And I guess also, unless you are a millionaire, you've probably spent most of your money on everything else, haven't you? Yeah, I think I can imagine why you don't want to buy anything else. I don't think you will for a second. I think you will buy stuff next year. But, I really don't believe that, but I can see why, given that list. We've got lots of other stuff on this outline, but we are reaching the end of this stream. What can we end on? There is a silly
I think we
thing
could
here.
very quickly rattle through the Apple stuff. We'll ignore the other things that might be
Yeah,
coming in 2025. But I mean, essentially, the things that might tempt me to part with some money are this mythical HomePad, i.e. a HomePod with a display.
Terrible name, isn't it? HomePad.
I don't think that. Actually, I
Can't
say
be HomePod.
we don't know A, if this product exists, or B, if that's what they would call it. But they probably would call it that, wouldn't they?
And it's sounding, yeah, they probably would. And it is sounding quite likely, isn't it? I think the rumours are fairly strong with this. I get the impression we are going to see this.
Yeah,
I think
I think we've got to see a new Apple TV next year, because
100%.
particularly if they want to start integrating Apple Intelligence into everything. The current one, it can barely do what it's supposed to do now. I'm just finding it's getting increasingly clunky and starting to annoy me.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to see a new one of those. I would like to see them break it out into a range. I want to see an Apple TV Nano, like a Fire TV stick kind of
that's a good
level
idea.
device,
Yeah.
and like an Apple TV Pro that's got an M chip in it, so that you can run Death Stranding on it for whatever you want to do.
Just a Mac. Just a Mac Mini.
Well, they've demonstrated that they can put an M chip in a tiny device. With the
That's
M4
true.
Mac. So we'll just make an even smaller one that's underclocked, less powerful, that you're not going to be rendering Final Cut videos on, but that can just pump some better than the titles that are currently available on Apple Arcade. Better quality games to your TV. I think there'd be a market for that.
I think the Apple TV Nano thing, they'd argue that exists already, wouldn't they? That it's just the app that you get in TVs. It's kind of integrated. I know you don't. I guess the idea with a little HDMI stick is that you can then put it into an older TV, couldn't you? But I know what you mean. I don't think they'll do this, to be honest. But we do need a new Apple TV, definitely.
Yeah.
You've put here as well the facelifted Magic Mouse, which there's rumours about that, aren't there? In terms of
all sorts of stories that they're going to make it more ergonomic and put the charging port in the right place. So that'll be good if that happens. Then there's there's allegedly new AirTags with 3 times the range. They've got some new gubbins in there.
Okay, interesting. The thinner iPhone, the iPhone Air, as it's being called at the moment, the iPhone 17 Air.
All right, fair enough. Right, if they deliver an iPhone that's as thin as the iPad Pro, I'll probably get one of those.
The only problem with that is that the camera system isn't going to be up to the spec of the Pro Max or the Pro, is it? And I'd miss that. I could not make that. I was thinking about this the other day. I couldn't make the iPhone Air unless they do something very clever with the camera system. Assuming it won't have the same kind of 5x optical zoom and all that sort of stuff. I couldn't switch to that phone personally.
I think that the main camera in the regular 16 is fine, though, isn't it?
But
just the normal wide.
it's that 5x.
I
Can't do without that.
I don't think I could live without the 5X. Well, actually, on the subject of the camera system, there's all sorts of talk that they're going to make it horizontally oriented, like pixel styly. You see that happening? Can you see the demise of the stovetop?
Stovetop. I've not heard of that before. I think it's going to happen. Again, these rumours seem to be coming from very reputable sources, don't they? And it looks hideous. I think the only one that doesn't look hideous is the version that has a kind of darkened camera bump, so the kind of googly eyes part of it you can't really see. But it's not very good looking at all, is it? But who knows? And the iPhone SE4, which we are due, aren't we?
Surely that's coming.
It's got to. I wonder what form that will take. Imagine if it was the iPhone Mini. What a year that'd be. If they resurrected that phone, I could probably give up. I could just sail off to the Bahamas with the amount of views we'd get on iPhone Mini content. All the people that want that iPhone Mini form factor back, it would be a big thing. That's it. That's 2024, isn't it? Done. Bosh, as they say. An interesting year, wasn't it? I think it was. We should also say this was the year that we had Vision Pro, and that hasn't really figured in these chats. I know we talked about it briefly earlier, but it was just about how heavy it is. That's the thing that Apple is touting as the future of computing, and it doesn't really figure anywhere in our thoughts today, does it? And also, it's are we going to see anything next year? A cheaper version? Probably not.
I would have thought so. I imagine it's on the same upgrade cycle as AirPods Max.
Oh God. On that note, yeah. Well, we better wrap up, and I'm not sure when the next episode is going to be because January is a bit nuts, but we will fit one in. We'll fit a couple in January definitely at some stage.
We should do one with you on location at some point because you do these for your machine anyway, don't you?
I do. Maybe we can do one in Vegas. Maybe we can. Let's. I mean, it's going to be a very busy time there. We'll see. Let's see what we can do. That would be quite fun. It would be fun to involve other people. We could get Patrick on because everyone else is going. We could get Patrick. We could get Pete, Alex. Everyone's heading down across to Vegas. So
that'd be amazing, wouldn't it? Just have the whole crew sit down for a chinwag about CES.
It would be amazing. Logistically, it sounds horrendous, but we struggled. We can have a meal like we did. We had a steak dinner last year. We want to do the same thing, but even organising that was tricky. So. We'll see. Let's see. Who knows?
So, well, before we wrap up, we do need to mention the silly thing, festivitas. Yes. So, it just puts Christmas lights on your desktop. It's very silly. Hang on, let me see if I can show you it. Where is...
I've got it here.
Can you see my desktop?
Oh, you got it. Oh, wow, lovely. That's nice, isn't it? Oh, they kind of wave a bit as well.
Oh, yeah.
Is that when you put your mouse over it?
Yeah, so they get out of the way of your mouse, you see, so it's not obscuring stuff, or if you need to see something that's under there, you can get rid of it. But if we bring up the...
They're on your dock as well.
Oh yeah, they're on the dock, which I don't... You shouldn't be able to see. Can you see my dock?
No, I can see it on the little the web page for it.
All right, yeah, so you can change the size of the lights, or all kinds of fun things you can do with that. But anyway, so there's the silly thing, is just for the festive period. I thought I would highlight this app that lets you put some Christmas lights on your desktop.
€4. Do you get to use them next year, or do you find that they're all tangled up and only 3 of them are working, and you have to get... It's like those ones where you take one bulb out and they all go out. Yeah, good stuff. Right, Rob, thank you for your time this year. Yeah, what more can we say about 2024?
No worries.
It's happened.
Well, thank you to our listeners for sticking with us, for tuning in.
I should have
said
said
that
that
first.
We can
bother to do one.
Yeah, it has been. I honestly can't promise that it will be any different in 2025. It'll probably be worse, but we will be here. And remember, we are on YouTube, so if you want to see this live, you can do. But equally, obviously, it ends up as a YouTube video afterwards, so you can go back and watch it if you really want to see me and Rob, see our faces. Right, Merry Christmas, Rob, and Happy New Year and all that stuff, and we will catch up in January.
See you then.
Cheers, guys, for watching.